Hello, it's Friday, April 17th, and welcome to Minutes That Matter. Well, yesterday we encouraged you to begin looking at what makes you happy and then bring that list before God and ask Him to begin to prepare you to compare that to what God says should make you happy. Well, the reason why we're talking about this is that for the last several days we've been looking at a series entitled Kingdom Living. As those who have a relationship with Jesus Christ through salvational faith, there are to be heart desires that reflect themselves in ways that identify us as citizens of Christ's kingdom. Well, yesterday we saw that as Christ sat down to speak with both authority and intimacy to the gathered crowds and to us, He's going to address what makes us truly happy. He identifies this by using the word blessed. It means to be happy, fortunate, or blissful. Another word for this would be joy. And remember, this type of happiness is not dependent upon our circumstances, but rather it is an inward contentedness unaffected by what is happening to us on the outside, like COVID-19. So now, I want us to see what Christ says should make us happy. And so if you're there in Matthew chapter 5, I want you to look down at verse 3 and follow along as I read. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Now the word poor here means to shrink, cower, or cringe, kind of like a beggar. And the word refers to a person reduced to total destitution who crouched in a corner begging as they held out their hand for alms. It has the idea of being completely dependent on others for sustenance. This person has absolutely no means of self-support. But Jesus is not talking about material poverty. Rather, in this context, he's talking about spiritual poverty. Jesus is saying that entrance into his kingdom and the mindset of citizens in his kingdom is one of humility. And so here's the big point. Happiness begins with humility. A person who is poor in spirit is one whose pride is gone, their self-assurance is gone, and they stand empty-handed before God. Jesus puts this beatitude first because humility is foundational to all other graces and a basic element in becoming a Christian. Look, friends, you can't begin to enter into a relationship with God through Jesus Christ until you humbly admit that you're a sinner and unable to save yourself. Salvation begins with humility. The door into Christ's kingdom is low, and no one who stands tall will ever go through it. We cannot be filled until we are empty. We cannot be made worthy until we recognize our unworthiness. We cannot live until we admit we are dead. But once you're there, you're a citizen of the kingdom. Once you're there, we understand that pride has no part in Christ's kingdom. Humility is to be the foundational character trait of its citizens because it was the foundational character trait of their king. Philippians chapter 2, verses 3 through 8. Friends, we might as well expect fruit to grow on a tree without the tree than to expect all the graces of this Christian life to grow without humility. We cannot live the Christian life with pride. Happiness begins with humility. And so let me take you back to the list that we asked you to write out yesterday. And so if you're like me, you realize that this list is full of pride. It's all about what I want, what I demand, what I exalt as a need instead of what it really is, right? A want. And so if that's the case, I invite you to join me in asking God to forgive us of such pride and to help expose those things in our life and to replace our wants and our desires with His wants and His desires. This is where true happiness begins. Again, if this was an encouragement to you, I would ask you to hit the thumbs up button. If you're not yet a subscriber, hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell button if you want to know when a new video comes out. And please, leave a comment or a question below and we're going to do our best to get back to you as soon as possible. And so from all of us here at Minutes That Matter, have a blessed day.